and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Good morning, everyone. I love how the chat is taking off, and let's just go ahead and say that use that chat for connection. It is a beautiful morning. It is a beautiful song, Rise Up by Andra Day. This is kind of our Be Well community theme song. We don't play the song every single day, but for these unique experiences, this is how we kick it off. And Jana and I kind of joke back and forth of, I'm not quite sure if that does you all better or if it does my brain better to get ready to help us all be well together. So we do hope this morning that you will turn your time over to yourselves. Let's spend the next hour truly taking care of you. Let Jana and I drive. Let us really help you take care of yourselves as you are constantly, as faculty, caring for your students, caring for the school, and caring for your own families and our community. So thank you all for all that you have been doing. This is our treat to be here to give a bit of a gift back to you. This is what we are calling our Be Well community. Started off supporting our staff through the pandemic, and then what we ended up doing within a week's time is saying, you know what, we want to do this for our community as well. So for the past 6 months now, we have been joining in together every day except for the weekends in our Be Well community, and now are honored to create these unique experiences for your teams. Because truly, we're going to get into this and I'm already getting ahead of myself, but what our brains need most right now is self-care and connection. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're intending to do. So let's enjoy this beautiful Friday morning together here in the Be Well community. Jana Gregg is our Director of Marketing. She drives all of the technology and needs to take credit for the music, for the visuals that you're about to see. I would not be able to arrive to do the things that I've been trained and love to do with relationships and psychology if I did not have an amazing co-pilot. So thank you, Jana. Here's what we know. Here's what we know about our brains really quickly this morning about the brain science. First and foremost, our brains are survival brains. We talked a lot about this in the beginning of the pandemic about what this means in relation to COVID-19, and it was a reminder again this week in the Be Well community. Someone said, a leader said, it's almost as if I'm having to remind myself and my team that we are navigating a crisis. We are navigating a real and valid unseen threat in COVID-19. And that's really exhausting. Like if you see a bear running at you, you know it's running at you and your system knows what to do. Our systems are really, for one, exhausted. We've been doing this for over 6 months. And two, it's confusing.
Is anybody actually talking?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Can you hear us? Is it James? James, can you hear us?
James, can you hear us right now? I'll try and meet with James privately. Just a second. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. So it's it's confusing. So our brains are survival brains. It's confusing at this point in time because now it's this unseen, it is a real
Hello.
threat in COVID-19. And we're exhausted. So if any of you out there have been feeling exhausted and can't really understand why that is, one of our events, it was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So it feels like as a psychologist, it is my obligation as a community mental health center, it is our obligation to truly make sure that we are just normalizing what it is that we are living through, as well as getting into the grieving pieces of that. We're all grieving the loss of just safety, the loss of what we've been calling normal. And self-care and connection are key to this. I would be remiss to also not mention the racial pandemic that we're living in. So we're navigating pandemic upon pandemic. And again, that has our survival states really exhausted at this point. Our survival states went on to develop into emotion and language. We are not built to sustain this long period of time in keeping us alive and safe. So that's enough about the brain science this morning. We also know that our brains are saturated right now. We're constantly having to make decisions. Don't forget the masks. And am I standing 6 feet apart? And should I be here right now? And can we meet outside? And I don't want to meet. So all of these questions are like flooding our brains. And you all know this. I just need to say it here in the beginning so we can move into some of the healing that our brains also deserve. So our brains are survival brains. We are all grieving. We survive best in connection with others. And that's also been a pickle here. That's how we talk about it in my family. Like, this is a pickle because we do best when we are in connection with others. And that's also scary to our survival states right now. So that's what we're going to do here in the Be Well community. And through Zoom, we've all been doing this to the best of our ability, staying as connected as possible while physically distant. We also know that without hope, whatever it is that we're trying to achieve isn't possible. And we have to continue every day fueling the creation of feeling of hope, because when our brains feel hope, that creates dopamine. And dopamine is that key chemical in our systems to help us navigate the next decision, the next crisis, just the next moment within our day. So we're here to do a bit of that today and ask you and invite you and welcome you to continue every single day, finding the moments that hope is created and experienced. That way you're creating that dopamine production in your brain. We're going to do that here together today. We're going to experience it, not just talk about it. We're going to feel it, hopefully. I also want to say at the beginning of this, we have done this enough now to know we do this every day, and so we feel this every day. I don't know each of you personally yet. I hope to. I hope to always know everybody more and more and more. This might be the first time that you've given yourself permission to take care of yourself. This might be the first time that anyone has held space for this with you. If so, we have received feedback that it can be really uncomfortable. Emotions kind of hit us out of nowhere, especially if we've been suppressing them for really long periods of time. Life is just hard right now. It is emotional, and that's healing, and that's okay, and it's also uncomfortable. If you need us, please feel free to private message Jana, probably Jana right here in this moment, as I know that I won't be able to get right back to you. If you need us on a more individualized basis, let us know that. And it might not be Jana and myself, but we have folks who we are happy to connect with for further support. So I say that at the outset of, if this strikes you, if it connects with you in some way that feels like you need additional support, yeah, us too. Let us know that. Thank you, Jana. Here we go, team. We are going to rate our weight here together this morning. If you feel comfortable to enter your rating into the chat, we welcome you to do that. If you don't, just make note of this for yourself. Rate the weight is our version of a subjective unit of distress. A SUD rating. This is what we do in therapy all the time. And it's one of the things also that I'll speak for myself as a psychologist, I have done a terrible job until the past 6 months doing this every single day, being intentional about checking in with my brain and my body. So what we ask of you is to really first hear this story. This story comes from a professor, much like many of you, that holds up a glass to the class, a glass to the class. I'm a poet this morning, and asks, how much does this glass weigh? And make that long story a bit shorter for time's sake here today, it doesn't matter how much the glass actually weighs, it matters how long we're holding it and how often we're setting it down to take a break. So with this in mind, we use the rating 0 to 5. 5 is unbearable, cannot function, and 0 is calm and at peace. I'm going to do my best here to be quiet and invite you all to think through how you're doing in this very moment. Not 5 minutes ago, not 20 minutes ago, last night, yesterday. In this very moment, how are you doing? It is so important for me to also share. Step 1 in healing is that we pause and ask ourselves how we're doing. We check in, right? We check in. Step 2 is that we actually put language or a rating to that. Step 3 is that we share it in a space that we feel safe. So if it's not this chat that you feel safe, if it's not with your colleagues or with Jana and myself, totally makes sense. Please know where your safe space is and share this. Part of healing is expressing it and having it witnessed by another caring, safe, either group, space, or another individual. So again, you're going to hear that, I hope, a couple of times today, whether that's with grief work or just healing. We have to feel it to heal it is kind of the going catchphrase right now. We have to feel it to heal it, and we have to have safe spaces to let it be known in. We carry our own load by ourselves every single day. That next step is really letting folks walk in it, walk our path alongside us, with us. Thank you for those of you entering your rating. I'm remembering that I haven't yet. When I get to do these Be Well experiences, I often have a higher rating, but it's really because of a good stress. I also like to share that because it might not be anxiety for you, it might be anger for you that you want to be rating. So you can really plug in whatever emotion it is that you are feeling and rate that. You'll see that we've come to use decimals. So again, whatever that is, whatever rating it is that makes sense to you. What we hope to start a conversation about today, I know that and maybe some of you are old pros at this, but what we hope to do is really set a foundation that you could use this toolkit, so to speak, every single day in your own daily lives and within your own teams. So that's what we're hoping to do, is that we can share the rate, the weight, the rating scale, and then we can also say, okay, let's start paying attention to what helps you stay 0. What is it that you know that works when you're ramping up to that 1 and 2? How does that look different from the skills and the mechanisms that you use at 3 and 4? And then at 5, what's your crisis plan? Not for those of us with, just those of us with chronic and persistent mental illness. All of us need a crisis plan, that emergency plan that we plan for tornadoes and earthquakes and unexpected events, as well as those emergency kits that we take along with us when we know that we could get a cut or an injury of some way. We need an emotional and mental health emergency plan in place. We follow this up, especially on Mondays. We do a 2-word check-in. If we have any Brené Brown fans in the group today, this is going to be familiar to you. And then we invite you, for one, to participate in the here and now, and then ask yourself, how might this tool, this engagement opportunity, be a good connector with you and your teams, or you and your students on some basis? So in the Be Well community, we do this every single Monday, and we've been comparing word clouds from our 2-word check-ins. We call them 2-word-ish check-ins. It might be 5 words that you need to say. maybe you can't find the words. So again, 2-ish word check-in, but then we've been comparing our word clouds from the beginning of the pandemic, about 3 weeks in, to as of recently as this past Monday. I'm going to be quiet. Think of 2 words that really capture how you're feeling right now, 2 emotions that really highlight how you're doing right now. Again, one more step in that healing process is that if you feel safe and comfortable, you are welcome to share this into the group chat today. Jana, this isn't a part of what I'm supposed to be saying, but I feel the emotion rising, like feeling connected with you all, just reading the language that you all are sharing in the chat today. Someone shares like, tired of masks and my eyes are blurry from all the Zoom. And that one, like I felt a smile happen, and then I felt it clear in my belly with emotion of like, oh my gosh, yes. Grateful, tired, that tired family, exhaustion, worried, the anxiety family is there. I love how we're saying like we are anxious and calm, brains are strange. That happens, right? We can be anxious in general and very calm in moments and safe in spaces. So it's really understanding that context. Hopeful, and maybe I've said that before, scattered, someone acknowledging like feeling jittery, and we're going to slow it down here in just a minute, and this is exactly why we slow it down, is that our bodies are so good at telling us how we're doing. Our brains are so bad, and I hate to judge, but we are not very good at listening to what our bodies are telling us and what our emotions are telling us, and that jittery feeling is one of those key indicators of we have to pause and tune in and check in with how we're doing. Not only to check in, but then do what we know to do to calm our autonomic nervous systems. So thank you all so much for entering your 2-ish word check-in challenged. I saw an overwhelmed, interested. Someone said, I'm appreciating the conversation here. Coffee. Life sucks. Thank you. Thank you to each of you for weary but hopeful, worried and worried. Dr. Rachel Johnson is another leader in our Be Well community, and she has done a phenomenal job with us, reminding us that this 2-word check-in is not only healing for ourselves, it helps put language, it makes language available for other brains to understand. Maybe it's that there was one day this week that I couldn't get it. Like I couldn't get my language, I couldn't reach the language yet. I felt all of my emotions, but I couldn't put language to it. And it was this activity this Monday that really helped me to figure out how I was doing in that moment. So this is not only healing for us, this is also healing and helpful to those around us to help build that language bank of what is it that I'm feeling. We can also offer up I think it was this week too, Jana, someone asked directly for the emotions wheel, and we'd be happy to share that with you all if that's something that you're interested in. Anyone else feel like we're having a ton of honest conversations? This is the best thing that we can be doing right now. And curse word, enter curse word. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do it. Honest conversations are hard, and yet that is the best way through what it is that we're dealing with right now, and life in general. Let me get over the pandemic that we're living in for just a minute. Honest conversations are just the best way to go in leadership, in teaching, in our family lives, with our relationships that we're in at home. And it's really exhausting. So we also have to partner those honest conversations with the skills and the activities that we know to really take care of ourselves and help us navigate these honest conversations. So honest conversations about all of the unknowns that we're facing, honest conversations about how someone impacts you, honest conversations about racism and anti-racism, oppression, and the list goes on and on. National disasters right now that are happening in the world. Honest conversations. Yeah, Lisa and Jana, I see that you responded there. It's so nice to know that we are not alone in this. And it sounds really silly. It doesn't feel silly to me because this is what I know to do. The more that you can normalize and be in it with people around you, the better we are going to feel. Because so often we think, I must be the only one that can't deal. None of us are dealing well right now. It's hard. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up, that how reassuring and helpful it is. Let's go ahead and do the slowdown that I mentioned here, because even my excitement's probably coming through for all of you. So we want to, this is where we bring in mindfulness and meditation. I do want to talk really quickly about the importance of belly breathing into our diaphragm, rather than having short, shallow breaths, which is what happens naturally whenever we're anxious. Making sure that we are mindful about how we're breathing. Please don't judge yourself and how you're breathing, but do practice here for just a minute. When you want to slow your autonomic nervous system, the best way to do that is to take one big deep inhale in through your nose. I'm going to do it here too. So breathe in through your nose. Try to blow that clear into your belly, pushing your belly out, right? Filling that belly with air. Hold that for just a minute, and on your exhale, exhale longer than your inhale. And I exhale out my mouth when I'm not talking. And hold it for just a couple of counts longer than that inhale. This activity is not an easy activity. It takes a good deal of practice, which sounds funny whenever we breathe all the time. It just happens. Breathing happens all the time, and yet it's not the kind of breathing that can reset and calm our autonomic nervous system. So that breathing that you just practiced, breathing in through your nose, holding it, exhaling through your lips slowly, and exhaling longer than your inhale, is one of the best things that you can do for your brains and your bodies anytime to calm that autonomic nervous system. Please hear me say this again. It takes a good deal of practice to do that and to experience the effects. Much like athletes practice to get to the top of their performance and achieve to the highest levels. Same concept here with healing breathing, belly breathing. Let's go ahead and practice that as we move into a meditation. You're probably tired of me saying this. Every single day, several times a day, we need to be doing a few minutes worth of mindfulness and meditation in a way that works for you. We've been doing the Be Well community for 6 months. We have done virtually a different mindfulness practice and meditation practice every single day. Now, it might be box breathing, and it's a different approach to box breathing every single day. So again, you're building your toolkit. Some things might work for your brain in calming your autonomic nervous system, getting into that healing breath process. Other things you're going to be annoyed with, and you just want to check that one off your list of, okay, that mindfulness practice doesn't work for me. The one we have picked today is meaningful to us here, and we have received amazing reviews from it as well. In April, in the Be Well community, we turned to one of our dear loved ones in our Burrell community, a clinician with a long history of experience as well as work with trauma, does EMDR therapy. Cheryl Johnson is a leader at Burrell and just a human that I hope to always know. We asked her to come into the Be Well community. We needed something to offer further connection with our team. We want to share with you what she offered that day in April when she joined us in the Be Well community. Please get into a position that is comfortable for you. Keep in mind that healing breath and really just try to tune in to Cheryl's lead here in the next few minutes.
As you possibly can at this moment. Whatever you do, there's no judgments. Kind of, we're all here just to be in this moment. And so part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring the bells to begin with and ring the bells to end the mindfulness. And so part of what I want you to do starting out is just listen to the tone of that bell from the very beginning to the very end, because it has a very powerful message. So I would like to invite you just to notice being here. If possible, with a sense of curiosity. Notice where your attention goes as you notice being here. Does it go inside or outside? Maybe it's the sound of your heater, the air conditioning, the sound of my voice, or sounds outside of you that tell you you're here. Maybe seeing the light or seeing the room that you're in. Just notice, what is your first procedural way that you sense yourself being here in this moment? For others, you may feel your body suddenly resist being here as you notice it internally. Maybe your attention goes to your core, or your heart, or your mind. Just notice how you know that you're here in this moment. I would like to invite you to bring your attention to the quality of being here. Is there a sense? Maybe a sense of heaviness or a sense of tension. Maybe an emotional quality of being here, like anxiety, relief, or happiness. Bring your awareness to your system and what is here in this moment. Now I'm going to say some words, and I'll say them twice. I would like to invite you to notice in your system what happens in your system as you hear these words. Who you are is enough. Who you are is enough. Notice any way those words landed and felt right with you in this moment. Or any part of you that tensed up and said, no, it isn't true. Or any way your answer showed up. Maybe zoning out or thinking about something else. if possible, bring a gentle awareness to yourself. It's all okay. Whatever you're noticing in your system, I would like you to notice that there is a root or a core to that. There's an earlier experience. There is some memory or some lie that is here right now in this present moment. Now, I would like to invite you to bring up a resource, something that helps you. It could be a resource of love or calmness or whatever state you like to be in. Just notice that. Maybe it's a person or a memory of a piece of music or art, something in nature, a pet, a loved one. Just notice that. Maybe it's a spiritual resource. Just notice. Whatever helps you, let it be here in this moment. So in a moment, I will ring the bell and you can take all the time that you need.
You are enough. I'm going to spend a moment here inviting experiences, responses, and if you'd like to turn your video on and unmute yourselves, please feel free to do so. Would just love to hear. Welcome, no pressure, just welcome anyone to share maybe what that experience was like, and sure, drop it into the chat too if that's something that would be easier. I find it pretty common with mindfulness and meditation, the opportunity to just welcome and share experiences and responses, especially as one of our friends already shared how nice it is and reassuring it is to hear that we're not the only one feeling and thinking this a certain way during an experience. Maybe just a quick check-in. Everyone, oh, here we go. Okay, just making sure everyone was okay and with us. Daily affirmations have been helpful to record in my planner at the beginning of each day. You are enough as a recurring theme right now. A reminder, I am enough and my best is good enough. Kelly, thank you for sharing. I tend to forget that when I find it exhausting that every routine decision in a day is no longer routine. I have to remind myself that everyone is doing the best they can and there's no right or correct answer. We haven't done this before. Do you know that we've done it now for 6 months, but every moment is a kind of a new experience for our brain, and that's exhausting. We make snap decisions to keep ourselves alive based on what we've lived before. We haven't done this before. Thank you. I took my first conscious deep breath of the day. It felt good. Thank you, Julie. Got some work to do on myself, just let go of a lot of stuff in that activity. Lisa, thank you. We all do. Not minimizing the work that you get to do for you, and owning that for myself as well. So challenging to slow down. That takes practice too. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I'll take just 1 minute to share that I was the biggest non-believer in mindfulness and meditation through my graduate days, and it honestly took experiencing Jon Kabat-Zinn's work that finally clicked with me of like, oh, I just hadn't found the right way to practice mindfulness and meditation. Sometimes I just lay in bed literally all day on my day off, struggle to let myself relax. So sometimes my body just forces it to happen. You're so right. Our bodies will force us to take care of ourselves. And so this is what we are hoping to do. And what I'm owning as a psychologist that I could have been doing differently for years and years is just making this available without having to schedule an appointment. We do this every single day. I'm holding myself accountable every single day to do the things that I've taught other people for years. And I am not saying that this pandemic has been easy, and I am scared to think through what it would have been like without forcing myself to do this every single day with everyone together. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Jana, let's continue to take care of our friends here. Taken a while for me to realize that it's okay to have moments where I do nothing. Being. There's a quote that we love in the Be Well community, and I say that a lot just because we do it every day, so it's fresh, but there's a quote about just being. We think constantly about, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? What about that? How would it feel if, how are you just being today? Took up saying when I was a teenager that I say several times a day, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I love that, James. Recognizing that work is a place that is hard for me to do any kind of letting go, hard to let go of the constant alert enough to engage in this kind of process. I hear you, Lindsay. And I ask of you, please find the space that you can engage. Yeah, and I feel that one to my core, making sure that if there's any way that I can help with that we find a way for you to take time for you to let go and heal. We need to do that. I'm happy to be in that with you. Feeling guilty about doing nothing. This is forcing me to think about being intentional about taking care of myself, and that's okay to take care of myself. If we don't, we're going to be in a bigger pickle if we don't take care of ourselves. Somehow along the way, self-care has been synonymous with selfish. Actually, it's the smartest thing that we can do to be the best for everyone else is to take care of ourselves. So let's continue. Art therapy. Find something that you can write on, a piece of paper, doesn't matter, no like specific thing. We're going to practice art therapy, and this is thanks to Bailey Pyle, one of our clinicians here, who has brought this into the Be Well community, and folks have loved it. Art therapy helps us, so while I'm talking through, find something to write on a piece of paper. I'm going to find a piece of paper and I'll just fold it in half. We're going to do something on the front or on the outside of a piece of paper, as well as on the back or the inside, however that looks for you. So whatever writing utensil you have, if you have a coloring tool, that's great, but it could just be a pen or pencil or crayon if you have that. Okay, art therapy helps us to improve cognition, helps us to cultivate emotional resilience, and it fosters self-awareness in a way that language can't get to. It helps us to be more insightful about how we are really doing on the inside, and helps us also to relax. We also know that art therapy gets to a place that language cannot. And so if we have that emotion that's stuck in there, art and art therapy are amazing modes of transportation to get to those spaces that we're stuck with our emotion and get that unstuck so we can again show up to be our best selves in all of our spaces. This activity that we're doing is not about how great you are at art. I am awful at art. It is not about the final product. This is about you taking the minutes and the moments to express yourself, increase insight and awareness, and hopefully provide some relaxation. So here's what we are going to do. There's a couple of steps to this process. We're going to create a postcard from your future self to you today. On the front of that postcard, there's a couple of options. Create an image that represents something about how you would like your life to be in the future. 2 years, a few years from now. That's option one. If that one doesn't sit right with you, you can also choose to draw a calming or soothing image, like a safe space, that calming space for you, somewhere that you feel relaxed. So that's step one. We're going to take a few moments. Jana will guide us with time with music. If you haven't noticed, music is embedded in this self-care and connection practice because it's found to be really effective in our health and wellness, mental health and well-being as well. Thank you, Jana. Thank you all for participating.
Lately's unraveling. Lately's unraveling. Oh, it haunts me. Lately's unraveling. Lately's unraveling slow. Repeat of the devil, you know. Oh, it haunts me. Over a million signs to blink and let it go. Lately she stopped traveling. Her heartbeat moved too fast to know. Choked up with miles to go. Over a million signs to blink and let it go. Over a million signs to blink and let it go.
Totally fine if you didn't get complete with step one. That's not the hope. The hope is that you didn't get done and that you'll return to this as another way to take care of yourself in moments ahead. So the second step of this process is on the back or the inside of your piece of paper. Write a note from your future self to yourself now. Give yourself encouragement, words of wisdom, and or remind yourself that this circumstance is not permanent.
This house on fire, 4 walls bound us no longer. We're dancing the warmth of its blaze. Stand tall like vanilla pines. Every day is another try to choose to do more than survive. We could do more than survive. Who told us such lies? Our greatest gifts have become our demise, and yet it lingers still. resisting our own will. Let's light this house on fire. Four walls bound us no longer. We're tasting the warmth of its blaze. Stand tall like vanilla pines. Every day is another try to choose to do more than survive. We could do more than survive. Do more than survive.
Again, hopefully getting you to a place of return later in the afternoon next week as you are after you take a break from the work week to take care of yourselves this weekend, kind of refuel and energize, return to this activity. And again, we welcome and invite an experience or two of what this might have been like for you. As we're allowing everyone to get your thoughts entered into the chat, it reminded me through this activity today, I'm not quite sure why, but the emotional intelligence education that we are all owed, it reminded me in that second song that all that we've learned about emotional health and emotional regulation is typically, unless we're in the field of mental health and wellness, is what we've learned from our families of origin. We all are owed emotional intelligence education. This is much like scripting, except with an image, which is very powerful. Thank you, Kelly. Ideas just spun from that. Always welcome any and all connection outside of this time to understand how we can bring wellness to life. James said, I drew a picture of a beach with seagulls and a shell and a crab on the front. On the back I wrote, pandemics come and go, but Key Largo stays. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Again, we welcome you to share if you'd like. If not, that's totally okay too. Please remember the keys of art therapy, what we've already shared, as well as your brain doesn't need to be in Key Largo to actually take a break and experience the benefits. Research shows that your brain really can't tell the difference between being in Key Largo and looking at a picture or going there in your brain. So again, just kind of that little plug there of don't underestimate the power of visualization and imagery. Practice that as often as possible. No one even has to know that you're taking a Key Largo trip in a few minutes, and that actually does your brain a world of good. The 4 Gs. Another activity that you could do every day. This is something that as a team we've wanted to be printed off, and some of our team members have laminated. So every day this is a practice that they get into every day. Let's practice this here together. What's something that you're grateful for today? What's something good that has happened today? A glitch that you've experienced, and a goal for the new day or the rest of the day, the weekend, however you want to put that, tailor that to yourself. Julia, you're so good. I'm gonna bookmark that. I'm gonna pull that up right now. Sometimes I forget some of this stuff. Our whole vision with the Be Well community was to create this toolkit that's available, and then Julie just like that just created dopamine in my own brain. That's awesome. Thank you. Don't mind me, I'm practicing my 4Gs here. I'll go ahead and drop them in, that way you can see mine for the day. I love that, Sheila. Large picture in your office. Yeah, you can be really strategic with the artwork that you do. I love that, Sheila. So you can go to the beach at work. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And a happy light in the office. I'm curious about that. I wonder if it's one of the, just curious about your happy light, but it's interesting to know that everyone comes in when that light is on. I love that. Okay. Again, if you're working on your 4Gs, that's awesome. We have a couple of things that we want to be sure that we get to before the end of our time here today. We brought yoga into the Be Well community, and it has been one of the most requested segments and returns that we've had. 2 weeks ago, I believe it was now, in one of our yoga segments, in the chat, someone entered, "Is it normal to feel overcome with emotion?" And the yogi of that day actually explained how, much like earlier with art therapy, our emotions get stuck. And so when we physically move our body and stretch and pair that with the mindfulness, it actually it frees that emotion, and it frees it up and gives us more space. And the yogi did a beautiful job of just normalizing, like, yeah, that's actually kind of what you're hoping for with yoga. That's one of those therapeutic occurrences that happen, is when you're moving your body through yoga, you also move your emotions that perhaps are stuck in there. So again, we're just trying to share all the different ways that we can be taking care of ourselves. Ways usually, really, I can't think of any of them that have not been rooted in science to be proven effective in wellness. So yoga is one of these that, if you're like me, I thought of it for years. I was like, I'm not really that limber and don't want to be embarrassed with other people. This, in the Be Well community, where I'm in my own office, I can turn my video off and just practice, has been all I needed to kind of overcome my own self and my fear about yoga and worry. So don't forget about yoga. And if you have the opportunity to plug in, or you're already using yoga, that is an amazing way to take care of ourselves right now. One of my personal favorites, and it's been amazing to really be intentional about this throughout the pandemic, is healing in nature, biophilia, forest therapy. There are several ways that we could talk about the positive impacts of getting out to nature. Recently, we've had Danny Collins with 37 North come in twice. We've had folks out of the Columbia area come in from True North Expeditions that really talk through how they have paired healing in nature with addictions and recovery, suicide prevention, post-traumatic stress disorder treatment. And for those of us that just feel better when we're connected to the earth, just trying to normalize and let you know this is actually rooted in science. You can't just go one time a year though, and this is something that I've taken from Danny Collins. He's like, remember, you're not going to get health benefits if it's just one time a year. Pay attention to what happens if you go out and connect in nature and to the earth. This doesn't have to be going on some big excursion. You don't have to go on an excursion. Go to your backyard, take your shoes off and connect with the grass, connect with the dirt, sit by a tree. So again, please don't hear this to say you have to go on these big adventures, these big trips or travel. You can go right to your backyard and still experience healing benefits from nature. Earthing, I love that. Yeah, for sure. She goes outside barefoot and just breathes in nature. For sure. We had one of our team members broadcast from her garden in May or June, and that was awesome. She shared her resources and showed us her. So there was even healing benefits of just us watching her in her garden. So gardening therapy is a thing. And so again, just find the ways that work for you. And that is self-care, and that's required. It's not selfish. So this is your assignment from the psychologist today, if that's how we want to. I rarely wear that hat, and if it takes that for me offering you this prescription to self-care, I'll use that hat today to say this is your assignment. Nature bath. Here's that cheat sheet that we've relied upon. So self-assessment, check-in, the rate, the weight, there are other ways that you can do that. So we try to make it easy, and this is what we do. There are other versions of this out here, so this is not the only one. Make sure to remind yourself about how healing music is. We've created every day, we've presented usually it's a different song. We've used Rise Up a lot. As we highlight and spotlight different things, we ask the presenter to recommend their songs, and Rise Up is one of those common songs. But we've put together a playlist that's over 6 hours long now on Spotify that is available to you all. Just search for the Be Well playlist. Making time for yourself every single day. Again, this doesn't have to be 30 minutes away from your family. You know what I did one night this week, and somebody recommended this, actually I read this early on, put an earbud in one ear so your family doesn't necessarily have to know that you're doing something else. When my kids know I have my earbuds in, that's when they want to talk with me. So I sat right with them for 5 minutes, put a healing song on, and just tried to regulate myself in a few minutes while still being right there present for everyone. Mindful moments, belly breathing, meditation, mindfulness. Find what works for you every single day, several times a day. We're always here. This isn't like you have to reach out for this. We're on Facebook Live every single day, 12:45 to 1:15. We have 6 months worth of segments that are living there on the Facebook Live, and we try to caption what the content of the day. So again, healing in nature, gardening, yoga. We talk through dialectical behavior therapy. So we're trying to highlight this past month was suicide prevention. We had Kevin Hines, a suicide survivor, and just an amazing speaker on behalf of living and living lives worth living. So again, that is all available to you on Facebook at this very time, and we're here every single day, minus the weekends, for you all. This isn't something that you have to ask for help. We're just doing it because we all need it right now, ourselves included. Here is the tool that we put together. This is all welcome to feedback. We're trying to put it all together in a way that you all have something to notice when I'm feeling this way, whatever your language is. I know that this is what I need. So you can start in the middle with the water glass. If I'm at a 0, what is it that has helped you to know that you're calm and at peace? How does your body tell you you're calm and at peace on the left? And then on the right, what is it that's keeping you there? What has helped you get to that 0? And then you can apply that on up. When you're at 5, how do you know that you're at a 5? What are you physically feeling? And then what is it that you know that you need to do in that moment? We've tried to capture self-care ideas at the bottom. That list is constantly growing. There's no one right way to do self-care. The right way to do self-care is in the way that works for you, and to do it every day. That's the right way to do self-care. So you can plug in what it is that works for you. The last thing that we have to remind you is it is critical always, especially right now, to set your glass down, to take care of yourself, to connect as much as possible in ways that are safe for us to connect right now. We're always here. You are always welcome. And if we can do anything further for each and every one of you, please let us know that. Last thing that we have to ask is just that you are well, be well. If there's other things that we can do at Burrell, we've asked everyone to keep crisis line numbers available, the National Crisis Text line available. So please keep these resources available when we need them. We're going to need them. All of us are going to need them. So it's good just to have them handy before the crisis happens. We welcome any questions, comments, feedback. And before that, thank you all every single day for the work that you're doing to continue the education that is so needed here for our students, for our communities, quite honestly. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. You all are fabulous. Thank you.
Meet me where the sunlight ends. Meet me where the truth never bends. Bring all that you're scared to defend and lay it down